It is official. The news is out. London back on the Formula E calendar for 2020 Season 6. So next season, next year, we'll be heading to London, the Formula E circus. Wow, this is somewhat surprising news. There are a few rumours going around, but I suppose the biggest surprise is that we're changing location. If you're new to Formula E this year, which, let's be honest, a lot of people are, you might not know that way back in the dark ages, Season 1 and Season 2, before the fancy Gen 2 car, there was a London E-Prix based at Battersea Park within London. Some okay races we saw there. The season finale of Season 2 where Sebastian Buemi finally got his first World Championship. Although I say that, it was his second time, but you get what I'm trying to say. Where he got his championship, that was a crazy, chaotic race. But complaints from locals, a lack of funding, resulted in the race going away. And for the past 3 seasons now, we've not had a London or a British E-Prix. So, look, they've tried to get it back at Battersea for the past 2 or 3 years. They then tried to sort it out in Birmingham, but they weren't able to do it. But finally, we found a location, and it's a unique one, but it's going to be good. And in a second, you're going to see the circuit layout. It looks very Formula E. Very Formula E. It's the first official indoor-outdoor circuit. We did see back at Season 1, I believe, the Tempelhof Airport, where a section of it was inside a hangar, and also Marrakesh has had some inside sections over the past couple of years as well. But, as you can see, the majority of this circuit is inside, only going outside once in Sector 1, and then the majority of Sector 2 and 3 are outside, but the main home straight, the E-Village, will all be inside XL London. This looks like a good circuit. I'll throw that out there. I had this struggle when Vietnam came on the circuit with Formula 1. The honest truth is, you can't really tell if a circuit is going to be good or not, because we don't really know the nature of these corners. Yes, there's plenty of straight, which I think in Formula E is very helpful. Considering now we have attack mode, this looks a very attack mode friendly circuit. Plenty of points, you should be able to put it there. So I think that's why I'm liking the layout. But that's not why people wanted me to talk about this. Because initially I thought, well, do I need to do a video on this? Not really. I think a lot of people will see it. But people really wanted to know my thoughts on the race being in London. Because a lot of people love Silverstone because of its location. Very central in the UK. For me, London and we'll say Birmingham Silverstone are almost identical lengths, so it's not a major hassle for me. But people who live, say, Lincoln, Manchester, Burnley, even further north than that, Scotland, that's more annoying that they've got to go all the way down to London. However, and this is a big however, and apologies for people who have, we've been talking the past, 24 hours, I suppose, since the news broke. We've been speaking that, is that really a factor for a race? Because Formula E's key ethos is to bring the racing to the people. So for me, I actually think London is the best place for an E-Prix. The biggest population of a city in the UK, the heart of the UK, many people say. It just makes sense. One of the biggest cities in the world, one of the most well-known cities, and also it's one of the big 5 cities that Alejandro Agag always talks about. He was able to get Rome on the calendar finally last year. We've already got Paris, we've already got Berlin and New York, and now we've got London back on the calendar. That is the big 5 he's spoken about ever since Season 1 really, so I can't complain too much that it's in London. But the big thing for me, which I find quite interesting, Silverstone. We don't know if it's going to be on the Formula 1 calendar next year. London is, and this race would only be 1 week after Silverstone usually is. So, is this potentially Formula E trying to say, well, if there's not a Formula 1 race, you can come to Formula E? I really want to know your thoughts. Will you, if Formula 1 does not save Silverstone, would you be inclined to potentially try out Formula E? I'd love to know your thoughts, because I imagine a few people aren't really too fussed. And I also imagine if you clicked on this video, you probably are interested in Formula E. But it's just something that I've been putting out there over the last 24 hours. I'm just intrigued. Will people potentially look at a Spanish Grand Prix, a Belgian Grand Prix, or will they rather stay on British soil and try out a Formula E? I don't know. It's just something I'd like to find out in the comments below. But the news is London back on the Formula E calendar for next season. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later on today for the next Formula 1 preview.